Right, what's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be, just going over a few points quickly about some of the hard truths of running a freelance business on Upwork. I think it's a little over glamorized online about, you can make tons of money, you can do this and that, but what all these freaking gurus and entrepreneurs and coaches tell you, don't tell you, is the hard work that comes with it. They can tell you about how to send proposals, what to say in it, optimizing your profile. I mean, that's literally 5% of what it really is. There's a lot of different facets to it that you really need to understand, so when you're getting to this point in your upward journey, don't feel like you're alone because there's thousands of freelancers that probably feel the same way, but this is just from my experience what comes with the territory when you're first starting out your Upwork business. The first thing, that you're going to do when you're starting a business on Upwork is obviously you're not going to have any clients already to work off of, right? And this is assuming that you don't have a marketing agency or you don't freelance outside of Upwork. This is for someone who's has no other direction. They want to do something new. They want to escape their 9 to 5 job, and they want to try Upwork. This is probably what's going to be for you. And if you are a freelancer right now, maybe it's just kind of warming to hear that we're kind of all in the same boat. I mean, not everyone, but just the majority of us can relate to one of these posts or points. Let's talk about how you have to constantly hustle for gigs. And it's pretty difficult. It's not that easy. When I first started, it took me about 3 weeks to get my first client. And that was after sending about 50 to 60 proposals. This is someone who has sales experience just outside of Upwork, right? So this stuff kind of comes naturally to me, and it's a lot easier for me. But a lot of people don't have those skill sets coming onto the platform with sales. It's kind of their first time really talking to clients, managing clients, learning how to do sales. Sometimes you gotta be hunting for your own money and collecting your own money. So you're playing the bill collector. You're playing as the account manager when client wants updates. You're doing the fulfillment that comes with the territory. Let's say that you mainly work in hourly base on Upwork and you don't want to work more than 40 hours a week, but you're capped at your pay rate. It's tough when you have a 40-hour week schedule with your clients and then one client suddenly decides to fall off or drop off. You had a 10-hour a week structure with that client. Now instead of making 40 hours a week, you're only doing 30. Now for a lot of people, that's a big hit. All that time that you've been spending fulfillment of the clients that you currently have, you've lacked in nurturing new leads and new business, right? This is important to have a good balance of both because you don't want to have a fire in your pants when one client or two clients, like it's happened to me, I've had almost all my clients just, suddenly fall off in the same week just because they felt like the project was done for the line of work that I do. It could happen to anybody. And it's important to stay ahead of the curve and really get help at the point when you need to start getting help. You can't grow a sustainable business without constantly going through this cycle of looking for gigs. If it's just you, it's going to be really hard. Now, there's projects on Upwork that you really can't get help in, like a customer service. If it's someone that they hired specifically you to be in an email for the client, answering phone calls, responding to clients. I mean, it's very hard to outsource something like that. Whereas if you get a design job or a social media marketing project or a paid advertisement project, it's a lot easier to get help from, other freelancers on Upwork. You can build your own agency on Upwork, have team members to help you, virtual assistants. It's a lot easier at that point to do that. But if you're just doing this by yourself, you never managed a team before, this is kind of what you're going to be facing in the beginning, is just constantly hustling for gigs. When you're finally, in those steps where you're having conversations with clients, you're getting past the proposal phase and now you're in the conversation phase. There's a lot of people that haven't dealt with rejection before when it comes to this line of work. And in the beginning, it feels kind of awful. You're going to feel like crap. You're going to have an imposter type of syndrome where it's like, oh, am I even the right person? Am I even the right mentality to deal with something like this? How many more no's am I going to get, from sending proposals? And the answer is you're going to get a lot of no's, more no's than yes. But if you think of it from the perspective that the more no's that you get, you're getting closer to that yes. So it's going to be a lot easier to persevere. And you want to have it in your mindset where you flip it to like, oh, I'm getting a no. Yes. All right. I'm one step closer to my next client. Because there's thousands of jobs being posted every day. There's not going to be, a deficiency of clients. It's just, you just got to keep hammering at the nail until you finally hit on a golden vein of clients. And if you get rejected by a client, don't get into an emotional response. I know a lot of freelancers that, especially that I've talked to, they've showed me messages of, what they, especially on Reddit that I've seen. I've had a couple of people on Reddit send me, like, oh, look what I've sent this asshole for, rejecting me. He hired me because he was cheaper. You're competing with people that are in, the Middle East, Asia, that can do what you do and do it for a fraction of the price. How can I be, stand out from the crowd if someone that has the same skill sets that I do, this is getting ego out of the way. They're charging significantly less than I am, and I'm here in the United States. That's what you have to deal with a lot of the times on Upwork, and clients are going to ask you, is like, oh, can you do it for this rate? Straight up say no. Because there's a lot of clients that don't want to hire from overseas. They want to hire from someone here, or they want to hire from someone that's closer to their time zone, right? That's working when they're working. Open-minded with Upwork, when it comes to dealing with rejection. Only do the work that is outlined in the proposal. Don't do what's in the proposal. You're going to get a lot of clients who are going to try to scope creep you. Let's say that you get a client in social media management that says, okay, we only want you to manage an Instagram account. We only want 5 posts per week or 10 posts per week. And then you're going to say, okay, this is going to take about 10 hours per week to do. You want video reels edited, you want graphics, okay, you want outreach for community engagement, you might want some story posts. That's going to take about 10 hours a week for just Instagram, because Instagram is a beast in itself to try to grow. A week later in the project, and let's say the client hits you with, hey, Joseph, can you also manage our TikTok, YouTube shorts, and we're going to need you to start posting on LinkedIn. Is this going to be okay? Can you add this into your schedule? If a client wants multiple different channels managed and they want me to do it, I have a team that can help me. It'll be a lesser rate. I think that I can be better suited to help navigate and just orchestrate, your growth online instead of physically doing it, manually doing it, right? And there's other clients that I charge at higher rate that want me to do it specifically. You just have to communicate that with your client. But let's say if they just want you to do it, they don't want you to outsource anything, you have to kind of step your foot down and say, like, no, this is not part of our proposal. If you'd like, I can update our proposal. It would take this amount of hours extra to complete these channels. And, if you can kindly update the contract on your end, then I can get to work on it. Right? You just have to communicate with them. Just don't be a yes person and just say, yes, I can do it. They're going to expect you to probably hit back with the rebuttal that, oh, okay, we need to raise the rates or the time, we need to get more time on the books, right? So don't be afraid to say that with clients. In the beginning, you might see a lot of inconsistent income. You can't really foresee next week's projects that are going to come in. It's all just about whoever just buys your project or whatever the leads come in that talk to you about the project, and then they purchase, then you have expectations of what your income is going to be. But my strategy is having at least 2 to 3 open hourly rated projects that are ongoing, like a work as is or as needed basis, and then having a lot of project based I'll use the hourly based clients as my baseline of how much just for, you know, expenses, bills, just whatever I think I need to make baseline, that's going to be my hourly clients because I know for sure I can hit that easily if my project based line of business doesn't rise up, right? Because it's always going to be up and down. You just don't know. So you want to have just a good balance of both until you really start building a team around you to just focus on project-based work, and then from there you can scale as much as you like because you can't scale, uh, to a full-grown agency with you stepping out of the picture if it's built around you on an hourly basis. You need a team for that. It's going to be really hard to do it, and you're going to expect to see blurring work-life boundaries. There's not going to be like 9 to 5, okay, I'm done, this and that. When you're really starting a business, it's all pedal to the metal until you start reaping in rewards. And you want to work as many hours as you can in the beginning. That way, you're putting all the energy, all the output into getting your first few clients, into getting established base. Then from there, you can ease off and maintain the business that you have, right? Because it depends the type of scenario then that you're in. If you're in a 30-day, like I need to get clients in 30 days to make money so I can leave my 9 to 5, or I just lost my job. I have a 30-day challenge that I need to get clients to make money so I can pay rent, whatever it is. That's the kind of input you have to have into this freelancing business in the beginning because you're competing with other people, especially like someone like me. Like I work literally every day. Like I love to do this. Like sometimes my girlfriend has to take me away from my laptop just because I love engaging with clients. I love creating things. I love making videos do really well on the internet. Like that's my passion. I'd rather do this than play video games all day. That's the type of people that you're competing with online, is especially those that just love to do this, right? So you have to love your work. And there's going to be some days that you're going to be like, okay, when am I going to find a good balance? Well, you'll get there eventually. It took me about 3 months to find a good balance. It's like, okay, I'm up at 6:30, going for a walk, taking my dog out, 7:30, back in the house, getting ready for the day. What's cool is I get to still be around my family, when I'm working from home. I feel okay to be working here, even though I'm kind of in the presence of people that I love around me. So it's easier to persevere that way. When you're getting clients, make sure that you always have payment verified clients, that clients that you've seen that, they've had good reviews, they have good responses from freelancers about their relationships working with them, and you want to stay away, if you can, from not verified payment clients. And you're always going to have people messaging you on Upwork from clients that, don't have any reviews, because Upwork is a very attractive place for business owners who are just hiring talent for the first time online. So, you just have to kind of vet them properly. So get on a Zoom call with them, make sure you get on a call with them, verify they're a real person, that they're really who they say they are, they're the person behind the account, get to know their business a little bit, get to know them, and then ask them is like, oh, are you just starting on Upwork? They're probably going to say like, yeah, this is my first time hiring someone on Upwork. Like, okay, like, they're legit. So once they add their payment method, or once their first week of payment method goes through, then the client will turn into a verified paying client on Upwork, and it'll show in their profile. Upwork does a lot of mediation when clients don't want to pay, especially with the low paying clients. Those are the ones that are going to probably give you the biggest pain in the butt. Is, let's say you complete a project, everything looks good, you submit the project, then 2 weeks later you get a refund request, or a week later you get a refund request from the client, and the client says that he wasn't happy with the work, he just wants his money back, even though you already submitted the payment. Right now you're going to have to get into a dispute with Upwork, and you're going to have to submit all the information, of the work that you did to secure your payment. So this is why it's important to document in the notes section, in the little square on your screen, when you're working on a client project. Document as much information as you can about what you're doing, right? And also make sure that let's say that you have a lot of work that's on the phone or it's on your iPad. Maybe you're doing manual posting for social media marketing. Obviously, you can't screenshot that on the computer, so you're gonna have to do it on your phone. So what I do is I put a little Google Doc on the side and I just put what I'm working on in there too, and then I have like a Loom video going like this without recording, and then I just have it, screenshotting my the screen here. So that way you can see me. I'm with my phone working on the project, and then I have it in my notes in the Google Docs here is like working on client for ABC client on Instagram, right? So it's proof that you're doing what you're doing, work for your client, so you don't have to, you know, wait for your money to show up in your bank account. You're going to expect to wear all hats in your Upwork business. You're going to be doing accounting, admin work, account management, the fulfillment, all of that stuff. And it's okay because I think it's important to understand the flow of your business when you're starting, right? Then you can see it's like, okay, what are the least money-making activities that I'm doing here that I can outsource? It'll get easier as you go through it more, but you just have to go through it. I recommend that you do go through it just so you can understand the flow of Upwork from beginning to end. You got to see how your flow of your business works for you because maybe, you know, you're a better account manager than you are a fulfillment and you're really good at sales. You know everything there is to know about the niche that you're in. You just need someone to help you fulfillment, right? And just make sure that if you are getting outside help for fulfillment, that it's for project-based work only, because Upwork doesn't allow outsourcing of work for hourly based projects. So just to avoid any penalties, make sure that if you are working on a bigger project for a client that requires multiple hands on deck, that you are setting it up as a project-based project. Every day, you're not going to have a fire in your ass every single day. There's some days that you're not going to want to do it, but you have to, especially with clients. Like you made a sale on a marketing client. Now you've talked a big game about what you can do for the client. Now it's actually time to fulfill and perform on that promise. And execution, delivery is everything. Your word is everything. Do everything you're going to say, and make sure you do it as best if you can. Even if you got to take a little bit more effort as far as going the extra mile your first time around with getting a client or two to build your profile, you really want to get a wow factor from your first few clients. And then tell them too when it comes to getting reviews, like, hey, can you leave me a good review? It really help me grow online and service other clients like yourself. Just ask, closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to really ask the world, ask the universe what you want, ask God what you want, ask your clients what you want, so there's going to be a pressure to perform. You're going to have to perform for yourself. Maybe your spouse or loved ones around you, they're depending on you. I have some freelancers that are in my community that, have pets that, they weren't making any income or money, and that was their motivator, was how am I going to feed my pet this week? How am I going to feed my dog? Like there's a lot of different motivators and factors that come into it when it comes down to perform. And don't worry about making everything so perfect. Just execute on that promise of what you're going to do. I can't really say much more about the pressure to perform. I mean, it's going to feel nasty some days. I mean, some days you're going to wake up and you might get a pit in your stomach of anxiety. Hey, I got to do it again today. This is what we do. Nothing can break you down from, being successful on the platform. I'm not over editing this video or anything. This is just whatever you're listening from me is just coming from me from the heart directly. I don't want to over produce bullshit about Upwork online like a lot of other gurus do. Like there's other channels on YouTube that don't even have Upwork profiles and they're teaching you how to make money on Upwork just because it's an attractive topic. As someone that's been doing this for almost a year already, I can say like shit, I have some scars on me now from doing this. But it gets easier the days that go by. It gets easier and easier, and then you're like, okay, I've been here before. I've been in this situation before. I know what to do. I know how to move now. Nothing can break you down. There's no problem bigger than you are. You're bigger than every single problem you come across, especially if you're growing a freelance business. Sales, marketing, conversations, communication solves 90% of the problem. You mess up on a project, or maybe a project is 75% complete, you submitted it, you feel like the world's going to come crumbling down, just communicate with your clients like, hey, there was an issue with the first deliverable that I sent you. Give me, another day. I will fix whatever I need to do and resend it to you. Is that okay? Like, oh yeah, thank you for letting me know. That way, you're not wasting their time until they see that there's an issue with the work you're submitting, and then they say something about it. Be proactive in your approach. If you see problems coming from a mile away, this ties into self-motivation. You're not gonna be motivated every single day. I'll tell you that right now. Some days you're gonna be like, why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I killing myself? It's so much easier just to go get a job at T-Mobile and sell phones all day. Why the fuck am I gonna be killing myself to make some money online? There's gonna be some days that you feel like that. There's other days that you're gonna actually have some really good freaking wins. You're gonna be like, damn, I'm fucking unstoppable. You're never gonna feel the same every day. You're gonna have peaks and lows, especially with me. Like there's days where I was laughing from the top of my lungs, like just getting a bunch of messages and requests from clients to service on work. And then there's going to be other days where you're just like, damn, I'm getting no work, and it can be a flip like this. There's going to be a week where you're making 10 grand a month, and there's going to be a week where you're just down to 1,100 bucks a week or even less. You're going to have these moments where you're making so much money one week, and the next week you're going to be like, where the hell did all my clients go? People's expectations change. People's need for a service changes on a daily basis. This is why it's important to stay on top of your work. The best way that I can explain this to you is you start losing a client the same day you get them. So it's important to nurture the client consistently, little steps of the way. It's like, hey, Jeff, I made this design for you today. Hey, Jeff, no need to respond. I'm sending you an update. I fixed this on your profiles. Hey, we're going to adjust the budget to save you some money here, Jeff. Just sending you quick updates. Send them quick updates along the way so that way they're not questioning your work and say, hey, we need to have a meeting. I need to know where we've been the last week. Because then now the pressure is really on that, I better have performed this week of tasks because now I have to present a whole presentation to this client about what the fuck I've been doing the last week. Right? So this is why it's important. Account management, nurturing, communication, little steps along the way. Just say, hey, Jeff, today we did this, this, and this today. Just wanted to let you know. Keep it simple. Or you got to learn how to say no. There's going to be some clients, as you're starting up, they're going to offer you disgustingly low paying amounts of money for work. Focus on just getting clients that you would normally get at your desired rate outside of Upwork. It doesn't change just because you have no reviews, you have no client feedback on your profile. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. All that matters is what have you done and can you back up the claims that you've made about what you've done? And can you do it for my business? You don't want to be going on getting some product review jobs, some tester jobs. Don't be getting that bullshit jobs that have nothing to do with your skill set because you're going to confuse your Instagram algorithms to send you the type of jobs that you really should be getting. Make sure you just double down and focus on getting the main clients that you would want to get at your desired rate. It takes the same fucking amount of energy to get a small client than it does to get a large client. It's the same amount of energy. You're still sending the same proposal. You're showing the same case studies of what you've done before. It's all the same. You're just dealing with different numbers, different frequencies. I have clients that I work with on a monthly basis and I haven't talked to in 2 months and we send billing every week and like clockwork, it gets paid. I've had clients that I've charged $30 an hour, as I was first starting my profile, and those were the worst experiences of my life. Just got to learn how to say no. This is probably top important slide for me is having a good support group around you, especially when you're just starting your business or if you're just getting into freelancing. it's so important to have a good support group because this will challenge you. This will probably be one of the hardest things that you've done online. It's really hard to convince people to give you money when you're working from home. You're going to have no oversight as far as, having someone micromanage you or anything. So you got to really prove to yourself, to clients as well, that, you're self-manageable, you're reliable, you're honest, you have good worth ethic, you say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say, you deliver on your promises. And there's going to be days where you're going to have, some battles and you're going to be at home. Sometimes you're going to feel, like I've said before, you're going to say, like, why the hell am I doing this shit? And it's good to have people around you, friends, loved ones, family. As long as you focus on work and you have good energy around you, there's nothing that can stop you. It gets tough if you're doing this by yourself. Like there's a lot of freelancers that don't have family to rely on, that they don't have a spouse or loved one to lean their shoulder on. They don't have a pet at home to lift the energy up. A lot of that has to be just straight up willpower. I hope that when you're going through this journey, you connect and network with other individuals online and go through this together, because we're all going through the same experience together. We're all experiencing what it takes to run a successful business online together. We're just looking at it through different eyes, right? The goal for all of us is the same. You don't have to go through this for yourself. I met some really good freelancers locally in my city, and we would have meetups. We'd go to a coffee shop, or we'd go to a WeWorks. We'd rent, an office for the day or a desk for the day, like $25 for the day to rent a desk. We'd go to a hookah bar, get a bunch of lounge chairs together, and you all just hammer out work together. You all work on proposals together. It's a lot more fun being on a journey with other people with the same goals as you. That's the best part. Fuck the destination, fuck the money, whatever that comes with it. It's all the steps along the way, because you're elevating yourself, because you're doing what's never been done. Maybe you're the only person in your family that has started their own business, especially online in today's age. We're in 2024. You know, there's a lot of people in that mentality that I need to have a brick and mortar location in order to have a business. No, you can do this all online. Freelancing is tough, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And the freedom of building something on your own, setting your own rules, and growing your skills, they all come with challenges, but if you're willing to push through the hard times, the payoff is well worth it. Now, just stay consistent, learn from every experience. Every freelancer faces these hurdles. A lot of us do. A lot of us are facing it right now. So get out there, go get them, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.